I'm managing over 10 YouTube channels, each with over 100,000 subscribers, and I'm going to show you the most important graph on YouTube analytics that nobody talks about and how this can supercharge your views in a very short time. So stick around. All right. So if you are not used to this, you probably are. This is an actual image of a video. So what this means very quickly is at the start of the video, 100,000 or 100% of people are obviously watching the video at the very start. And then quickly they start dropping off. And then you slowly lose people over time. And this is a very important graph to look at. But I'm going to say something in here that most people don't say, and they have a different opinion and they're wrong. And I can tell you because I'm looking at so many channels, all right, popular ones as well. So if you look at these two graphs, let's just see what the difference is. So in this first one, basically a lot of people stop watching almost immediately. So a lot of people would say that's a bad hook, right? As soon as you turn on the video, basically you've lost like 60% of the viewers. But then what happens is anybody who watches the first 30 seconds, imagine this is 30 seconds and this is like 20 minutes, almost everybody stays for the rest of the video. Now let's compare it to this one here. Now this would do better in the short term because you have a very slow drop off, but I don't like this shape and I'll tell you why. Let's think about what this means. This means that your hook is decent, but slowly over time, people are giving up on you. More and more people are saying, okay, good start, buddy, but this is getting boring. This is getting worse. I'm not learning anything. I'm going to quit. Okay. So even though that is better in the short term and could perform better than this, the channels that have graphs that look like this are doing way better and they're exploding to the moon. And let me show you why, even with a bad hook. I'm not saying you should have a bad hook, but I'm just going to show you channels that would and how it works. Okay. So I'm going to look at some real examples here. Now, this is a good one. David Shapiro, he's a popular YouTuber. Now, he just has this setup basically. He just sits in front of the computer, talks about AI. He has an interesting perspective on AI. So people don't really care about the setup. They don't care what he's wearing. And he could go on, he talks about his health sometimes. He could talk about his dog. He could talk about going for a walk. And the subscribers that he has will stick around for that. Now, anybody new, like if you see him in here for the first time, I guarantee you a lot of people that see this for the first time will drop off like that first one. But if you stick around for a few minutes, you'll realize this guy is interesting. And then the subscriber base grows. He hasn't even done it for that long. And let's just look at this. So this is 2 weeks ago. He has videos a lot more popular than this, but 22,000 views. And watch this. 331 comments. It is with a lot of like sub comments. This is a very engaged community. People really enjoy him, and all he's doing, the whole setup, is this. He's not thinking, "Oh, how am I going to hook people?" He's not thinking about SEO. He's just like, "I'm going to shoot the camera or turn it on, and I'm going to tell you some interesting stuff, and I might throw in some stories about my life in there." And that's the best type of channel. Okay. And you can, no matter what type of channel you're doing, you can incorporate and you should incorporate some of that type of thing. So this guy is doing very well talking about YouTube in a different way. He's 99% of the time just standing outside, selfie camera, doesn't really care about the setup. And like he has some videos with like 500,000 views. He's doing very well. And again, 340 comments with only 8,000 views. Okay. Now what does that tell you? How many videos do you have where you have 8,000 views and 340 comments? Again, if you just see this guy and you click, I guarantee you most people are going to click away in the short term because they're going to think I'm in like TikTok mode basically, or YouTube shorts mode. If I'm not entertained in the first 3 seconds, I'm clicking away. But he builds up people that are going to listen to his advice long term. And then slowly but surely, and it doesn't even take that long, and the algorithm has changed, people will start seeing him show up in the sidebar here. And I know that from working with these channels, not these specific ones, but similar idea. Another example, Brett and Heather, 129,000 views. This is 25 minutes. Sometimes they have podcasts that go on a couple hours. They read ads for like 15 minutes in the beginning. They ramble on about nothing in the beginning, but they have a loyal audience. People love them and they do well no matter how bad their thumbnail is, whatever. They do well in that. Okay, this guy is absolutely crushing it. He just walks around outside in Florida with a camera on him. This is the same thing. Just walks around the neighborhood talking about Florida real estate, the economy, just what he sees. And it's very authentic. It's very real. And people just watch this to kind of hang out with the guy and look at the scene. And they think maybe he's got some interesting points, but they're not looking for that hook. You could go out, you could put it on in the car and listen, or you could go on a bike ride and listen. They just want to hang out with somebody and like listen to that. So that's another vibe. And again, he's got a bunch of comments. This is 6 days ago, 215,000 views. I mean, he's just absolutely crushing it. And it's so easy to do. You don't have to do this hyper crazy editing. Another one, this guy in the car, same thing. Every time, just sits in the car, films, and it goes well. Okay, like it's very very easy to pull off. Now I noticed I did all males doing this, females do it as well. Look at her setup, right? It's not she didn't go to one of those academy things where it's like, oh, get all the perfect lighting and whatever. Just boom, right in front of the camera, 500,000 views, and she does well. I didn't even look, but I guarantee there's a lot of comments here. Look at that, 5,000 comments. People are like, you go girl, you're amazing. Like, people like this human authenticity thing. This guy, he's funny and he does financial education. He uploads all the time and people just go on. They like his viewpoint, but he's more interesting because of the comedy thing and just the reality sort of, the way he is basically. He's actually funny. So people listen. Um, Another one. Now, this is an interesting one, and I don't want to be unfair because this is a super successful channel. 2.16 million subs. They've been doing it for a long time. They're one of the premier sort of how to grow on YouTube sort of video setup. And you're not going to hear this, but just watch the first few seconds, and then I want to just talk about it. Now he's gotta go outside and do that's him, so it's not like B-roll footage. He's gotta go outside and get someone to film over top like this with a crew for a few seconds, and he's back outside, snaps, now he's in this thing, like, look at all the editing and all the effort, and a lot of this is I'm not trying to put it down because it can work, but again, over 2,000,000 subscribers, 61,000, that's not a great ratio. It's not bad though. A lot of comments, but the thing is, do you want to rely on that type of editing structure? Okay. And if you do, then it's very, very expensive in terms of money and time, even if you can get AI or a few people to help with it. But like in this guy's case, he's outside rolling around in the grass. It's difficult. So the thing is, and YouTube going back to um, going back to these graphs that I was talking about, they used to reward this a lot more than this, and now they're starting to go the other way because what they're doing is they're realizing, wait, in this first graph, if I can get somebody to click and actually watch it, I can find a loyal audience, and that's what their algorithm is trying to do: is find these loyal audiences rather than audiences where, yeah, you've tricked me a little bit, I guess, and I've watched the first 30 seconds, and maybe I watched the whole video, but if you're not watching the channel repeatedly because you think the content, um, I don't know, it just doesn't deliver that much value, right? It's like this vidIQ thing. I mean, it's difficult to again, I don't want to criticize it. There are some good tips in here, but how many are you going to really watch? Like a lot of it's like, the 7 tips that YouTubers have to do, and don't give up and create more content, and you know have a good hook, and it's like the same stuff over and over again. So if you like if you're going to make that type of content, again, not that it's bad, but if you're going to make that, you have to rely on this. Like if there's not much there, if I just went and got the whole transcript and put it in chat GPT and said, like, tell me the big lessons from this whole 8-minute video, there wouldn't be much in there that I wouldn't already know. Okay. And I think that's the case for most people. So they have to rely on this hyper editing, jump cut, like put a trick, it's a whole bunch of tricks. It's almost like a used car salesman tactic. I mean, imagine if you're trying to meet somebody to get married. I mean, you don't want to rely on first date type of tricks, right? Where it's like somebody could say, put on your best clothes and I mean, which is fine for a first date, but like, take her to a super nice restaurant that's expensive and spend way more than you can afford and laugh at every joke and sprint over to hold the chair and do stuff that you don't do day to day. You might be able to pull off a second date, but pretty soon you're going to be sort of boring. So it's not like you don't want to pay attention to any of that stuff. But if you're relying on that, like these sort of, how do you get to the next phase? How do you get to the next phase? How do I get somebody to like watch the next 3 seconds? Then you've lost it in terms of you're just showing you have no personality, none. Because like imagine if you invited your friends over for dinner and you're worried that they're going to leave in the first 3 seconds of being there. So you have to tell a joke as soon as they come in. And like, I don't know, you got to have, I don't know, different lighting and the music's got to come on. And then you have to have perfect food. I mean, these aren't friends. So what you're noticing, like when I'm talking about a lot of these comments, you want to have people that like what you do, even not on a bad day, but they like what you do whatever you're doing. Now, that doesn't mean don't think of the video, don't plan anything, but it does mean if you are relying on these hyper tricky, weird things, it's so difficult to pull off and you have to do it all the time. And at the end of the day, you're still not going to have a loyal audience because they're going to get bored of it. They don't need that fake garbage. So look at all the examples that I gave and you'll see like, oh, this is a growing trend. You'll start to notice it. And then you can start to do that in your own videos. And I guarantee from my experience, you will grow more. And YouTube's rewarding this kind of stuff because it makes sense to. They want people to like channels, actually like them, not like, where can I don't know, get tricked for 30 seconds and then feel bored. Right? They want like, who do you like long term? So, anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Check out the other videos. I'm trying to add as much value as possible, the least amount of tricks as possible. And that's basically the theory here. So, enjoy. See you in the next one.